Wait until he fights this guy.
I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out over the next couple weeks. But yeah, if we can't get this fight done, we'll move on quickly.
I think it's got to be December. You got to end the year with this fight.
I think it's November. I think it's New York.
Either way.
I think it's New York. I just think,
I mean, it's getting...
He's not gonna damage his legacy that much.
But if he gets knocked out cold in the first round, what do you think?
Yeah, the people are gonna say, oh, he's too old, John Jones.
In a dramatic turn of events, UFC President Dana White has issued a stern ultimatum to Jon Jones. Accept the fight with Tom Aspinall or risk being banned from the organization. A bold move that could redefine the future of the heavyweight division. Nearly 7 months have passed since talks first began about a possible clash between current champion Jon Jones and interim title holder Tom Aspinall. Yet despite the hype and excitement, the UFC has yet to finalize the bout. The uncertainty has cast a shadow over what should be the most exciting matchup in the division, leaving fans, contenders, and insiders all wondering the same thing. Will it ever happen?
A lot of people are speaking on this. In fact, they've started a petition. The people have spoken. They have started a petition, and it's on 17,000 votes. 17,000 people in the MMA community so far in a very short amount of time are all saying, strip Jon Jones. And one of those people is Tom Aspinall's former opponent, Curtis Blades. He said, listen, without a doubt, they should be stripping Jon Jones. And everyone is starting to get a little bit tired of it. And now Jon Jones is even tweeting and alluding that maybe the fight's not even gonna go down. Let's just take a look at the Twitter feed of Jon Jones. He says, I've been out here in Thailand, I'm enjoying life, I'm stuffing my face every day, and I swear I'm losing weight. Yeah, because the food's not full of shit and chemicals, that's why.
Recently, while conducting an MMA seminar in Thailand, Jon Jones hinted that an official UFC announcement may soon bring clarity to the situation. He didn't confirm the fight against Aspinall, but he suggested that both fighters are simply waiting on the organization to make the next move. That statement alone sparked speculation, but it wasn't enough to convince everyone that the long-awaited bout was on track. Jones's refusal to directly commit to the matchup left the possibility open that the fight may never materialize.
When are you fighting Tom?
I was waiting for it.
When are you fighting Tom, like, governor?
The UFC in town, we all got a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. They're one of the biggest organizations in sports, and right now Tom and I have agreed to wait for the UFC to make their announcements. So I really can't really talk about it.
Despite growing pressure from fans and media alike, Jones has shown little concern about public expectations. Instead, he's been enjoying life overseas, even celebrating the success of his seminar in Thailand by posting on social media. According to him, several people from the United Kingdom traveled just to meet him, something he attributed to Aspinall's recent social media attention. It was a subtle nod to the Brits' relentless online push to get the fight booked, but it didn't do much to ease tensions. Aspinall, for his part, wasted no time in responding. In a recent interview with Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen on their show, Good Guy, Bad Guy, the Englishman dismissed Jones's claim that they had already agreed to the fight. Instead, he painted a different picture, one where Jones was essentially retired and moving on from the sport.
Nah, man, Jones retired. What are we talking about, guys? John, you guys don't follow John on social media?
I don't follow him on social media. He said that...
No, me too, actually. Me too, but the guy is living his best life. He's had a fantastic career, we all know. We know John's a religious man, so I want to say God bless him moving forward in what he does with his life and his career. And, you know, we move on. We move on. I'm the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I'm ready to take on all comers, get this division moving again.
He praised Jones's legendary career, even blessing him for whatever comes next, but he made it clear that the division can't keep waiting. Aspinall declared himself the undisputed heavyweight champion and expressed frustration with the delays, saying that both fans and fighters are growing tired of the stalling.
Us guys have been waiting around too long, you know, the contenders are getting sick of it. Everybody's getting sick of it. Even the fans are getting sick of this stuff. So John's retired and it's time that we move on.
The UFC heavyweight division has been split for nearly 18 months now, with Jones and Aspinall holding different pieces of the title. While Jones holds the official championship, Aspinall's status as interim champion and his dominance in recent performances have made it hard to deny his legitimacy. He has yet to be taken past the second round in his UFC career, and he believes he's ready to take on any challenger. However, he's stuck in limbo, waiting on a green light that never seems to come.
Guys, come on, you guys are veterans of the sport. If one guy's thinking about retiring, he's retired.
Yeah.
I ain't thinking about retiring. I'm thinking about getting this division active, making the heavyweight division great again, getting these big fights in, fighting these contenders who are sat on the sidelines waiting for, over a year at this point. Like, yeah. I'm here to fight, man. I have never... I see a lot of people online, and I know you guys have had debates about it. I know all the YouTube guys are debating about it all the time. Like, I'm not looking to fight John Jones. I'm looking to fight for the undisputed heavyweight champion. That's what I want to be. I want to be the UFC undisputed heavyweight champion. I see a lot of people...
Amid this, Dana White has finally stepped in with some clarity, at least more than anyone else involved has provided so far. During an appearance on the Jim Rome show, White addressed the ongoing situation and was candid about the difficulties of working with Jones. While he acknowledged that Jones has never been afraid to take on any opponent, he also made it clear that the clock is ticking. The UFC is reportedly willing to move on if Jones doesn't make a decision by the end of the month.
What I'm about to ask you, you're not going to say is the beauty of what we do, because I know you're sick of the question. Does John Jones not want to fight, or does John Jones just not want to fight Tom Aspinall?
Listen, John Jones has been an interesting human being to deal with since the day he got here. But I will say this about him. You would never hear me out, talking about he's the GOAT, and he's the this, and he's the that, if John Jones didn't want to fight people. John Jones has never, ever said, I'm afraid to fight this guy, or I don't like this fight for me, or any of that stuff.
So if, for instance, he doesn't fight this guy, who would you like to see him fight? Or are you gonna wait until he fights this guy?
I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out over the next couple weeks. But yeah, if we can't get this fight done, we'll move on quickly.
Even as UFC executives weigh their options, fighters within the organization are beginning to speak up. Gilbert Burns, known for his honesty and insight, recently addressed the situation on his podcast, Show Me the Money. He believes negotiations with Jones are still active behind closed doors, and that the fight with Aspinall will eventually happen. Burns speculated that while people may be frustrated now, Jones could suddenly agree to the fight and reignite interest across the board. In his view, the money will be too good to pass up, and the legacy at stake will make it impossible for Jones to walk away completely.
You do think so? Because I do too, but it's gotten so crazy that now you start to have some doubts. Is he kind of just throwing this and taunting the fans and the UFC, or is this just a negotiation tactic and they're actually having serious conversations behind the scenes?
I agree. I do believe it's negotiations going on. They get that food, that food is boiling. People, and eventually John Jones, yes, I'm fighting, and then people, everybody's gonna turn in.
Bro, if that happens, it's gonna be. I think it's gotta be December. You gotta end the year with this fight.
I think it's November. I think it's New York.
Either way.
New York. I just think,
it's getting...
John Jones has a lot to lose, right? But let's just think.
Burns also pointed out that even if Jones were to lose, it wouldn't necessarily damage his legacy. With so many potential excuses, such as his long layoff, age, or time away from competition, Jones could still maintain his legendary status. According to Burns, people would always believe that a prime John Jones would have dominated, regardless of the outcome.
John Jones lost. Let's just think that fight happened, Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall wins. And it's a close fight, and people think too. I don't think it's that easy.
Right.
But let's presume that Tom Aspinall win. Bro, John Jones has so much excuse. I have a year layoff. I was old. This and that. He's not gonna damage his legacy that much.
But if he gets knocked out cold in the first round, what do you think?
Yeah, the people is gonna say, "Oh, he's still old." John Jones on his prime would kill these guys.
It just sucks to go out that way when he's been flawless,
Yeah,
That's the thing. But at the end of the day, if the check is big enough, does he really care?
The check is big enough. The check will be big enough.
Burns stayed firm in his belief that the fight between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall is definitely going to happen, assuring everyone that it's only a matter of time before it becomes official. He even mocked the drama surrounding the situation, including the online petition aimed at pressuring Jones, laughing off the idea and taking a sarcastic jab at the MMA social media pages fueling the frenzy, particularly poking fun at the likes of MMA Guru for stirring up controversy without real insight.
I'm telling you guys right now, that fight's happening.
Really?
Yes, this
You're
fight's
that
happening.
sure?
I'm that sure.
So if you had to bet on it, if you had to place...
I'm not betting, but this fight, I really believe, I strongly believe that fight's happening, and especially all that petition, bro. That petition, who made that petition, bro? It's freaking Dana White making that petition, so everyone's talking about it, and bro, who made always MMA
It was
Guru?
a social media account that made it.
MMA Guru?
I don't know at this point.
Moicano.
Moicano made the petition.
That's why
bro.
Moicano didn't come today. Moicano doing freaking petition. Yeah. Kingdom Academy. Guys, make sure you guys, if you guys in South Florida.
In a recent interview, DeFries didn't hold back his skepticism. He suggested that Jones is simply dragging the situation along without any real plans to commit to a bout with Aspinall. He suspects Jones is milking the benefits of being a title holder for as long as possible, and that he's not interested in putting himself at risk against someone as dangerous as Aspinall. DeFries even predicted that if Jones truly intended to take the fight, he would have already said yes by now.
I don't think it's going to happen, you know. I don't think Tom wants it. I don't think John wants anything to do with it. I think John gets a lot of money for being champion. I think the sponsors and that are paying him a fortune. And I think he's just dragging along, keeping the belt as long as possible because it's worth that much money to him. I don't think he's got any intention of doing the fight at all. I think he's just going to drag it out as long as he can until he gets flipped. You never know, he might come back. I mean, you know, but like... I reckon he would, if Tom did get beat, he would jump for joy and he'd fight the guy who beat him. But Tom's not going to get beat, and I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think so. I think it's just not happening at all. But you never know. But I think if it was going to happen, John would have said yes by now.
There's also a strategic angle that DeFries hinted at. He believes that Jones may be waiting to see if someone else takes out Aspinall first. If that were to happen, he thinks Jones would be more than happy to fight the person who beats him. But when it comes to facing Aspinall directly, DeFries just doesn't see Jones stepping up. He feels that Jones knows how tough the challenge is and would rather avoid it unless circumstances drastically change.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to milk it as long as he can. Well, he's like the longest running heavyweight champion in the history of the UFC, isn't he? But he's only like he hasn't fought anyone. Yeah. He's like but people remember these records. They're not going to oh yeah, but he was dodging Tom the full time. But like I said, I think he's going to sit about. They might come with a huge amount of money from it. I think they'll probably just gamble with Gain. Everyone thinks Volkov won that fight. I think Volkov won that last fight, but Gain's coming off a win. He's pretty good, and he sells tickets. You know, that's a big thing. You know.
Yeah, that'd be huge.
If the fight does eventually happen, though, DeFries is confident in how it would play out. He thinks Aspinall has the tools to finish Jones early and could make a major statement in doing so. Even if it goes the distance, he believes Aspinall is fully prepared to last all 5 rounds. Having trained with him closely, DeFries has first-hand experience with Aspinall's cardio and intensity, even deep into the fight. He recalled going into the 5th round with him and admitted that it's still an overwhelming experience, no matter how late it gets.
But John's often struggled with tall people who are good boxers, and Tom is the best boxer Jones will ever have fought. I imagine he'd probably, if he did fight him, he would probably think, oh, I'll just ignore him for 2 rounds, totally ignore him for 2 rounds, get him frustrated, get him tired. But Tom is fit in the 5th, you know, he smokes people straight away, but I'll be doing his 5th round with him, and it's not very nice still the 5th round.
He made it clear that Aspinall's fitness and sharpness are elite, and while Jones is still an outstanding fighter with a legendary resume, DeFries doesn't believe he's the same athlete he once was. He also mentioned the size factor. Aspinall likely has the physical advantage, which could play a crucial role in how the fight unfolds.
John Jones is fantastic. I don't think he is what he was, and I don't think he can. He is kind of a bit smaller. I think Tom would have the size advantage, but he is pretty good. He could beat anyone, John Jones, especially if he turns up. But I think Tom would be the favourite. And there's always a chance of Tom just smoking you in a minute, like he has with everyone.
British fighter Paddy Pimblett has also chimed in. Despite being friends with Aspinall and supporting him as a fellow Brit, Pimblett is hesitant to bet against John Jones. After years of watching Jones dominate opponents, he remains convinced that the American would come out on top if the fight ever takes place. Still, even Pimblett recognizes that making the fight official is the hard part, and there's no telling when or if that will happen.
Do you think the Aspinall-Jones fight happens?
It's got to happen. I was sitting next to Tom the other week at the UFC in London and talking to him about it.
How do you think that plays out if they fight?
I'll be honest, Tom's a friend. I love Tom. He's one of the coolest dudes in the whole of MMA. Even though Jones is getting old, I just can't pick against John Jones. The one thing I do think John Jones has got the best in the world and the best ever is fight IQ. He has a perfect game plan to beat that person. As much as I love Tom and I want Tom to win, I couldn't pick against John Jones. It's just something I couldn't do.
Meanwhile, Jones maintains that he has already informed the UFC of his plans, but there's no indication those plans have been communicated to Aspinall. The uncertainty has left everyone guessing, including the interim champ, who may now be forced to take another fight just to stay active.
First of all, incredibly dangerous to do that. I mean, let's just be honest. You should not drive and be on IG Live. Second of all, look, he's doing this reality show with Nathan Diaz in Russia, and I'm told that the money is just absurd. It's astronomical. Get paid, well deserved. Both legends of the game. I totally understand it. But here's the part that I very much disagree with him. It's not about you, John. It's not about you. It's not about your life. It's not about your story. If you want to enjoy your life, if you want to be a part of a reality show, if you want to take that money and delay things and hold someone else's dreams back from becoming a reality, that is ducking. That is ducking, because there is a time-honored tradition in this business.
With the UFC heavyweight division stalled for so long, this lack of movement is not just frustrating, it's damaging to the division's credibility. At this point, all eyes are on John Jones. Whether he finally steps up to face Aspinall or walks away from the sport, the decision will have lasting implications for his career, Aspinall's future, and the legacy of the UFC heavyweight division. Dana White has made it clear, enough is enough. If Jones doesn't act soon, he could find himself out of the UFC entirely.
And we're now in a discussion where that isn't true, where an interim championship might actually be defended. And that's the part where I gotta tell you, I don't buy it. There isn't two options for John Jones. There is for Tom. In fact, for Tom, there's 3 and 4 and 5 options. John Jones will be offered a fight with Tom, or he cannot fight at all. And when you're a prize fighter, electing to not fight does not make you good at negotiating. It makes you unemployed. And John Jones has done great, but John Jones has not made walkaway money. He just simply isn't at a point in his life or career that he's going to be walking away.
As the heavyweight division hangs in suspense, the clock is ticking, and so is the patience of fans, fighters, and insiders alike. With Phil DeFries casting serious doubt on John Jones's intentions and backing Aspinall as the man to shake up the division, the pressure is now squarely on the reigning champ. Will Jones finally step up, or will he keep clinging to the crown from the sidelines? One thing's certain, if this fight ever gets signed, the explosion in the octagon might just be worth every agonizing delay. Do you think John Jones is avoiding Tom Aspinall, or is he just playing the long game? Is Aspinall truly the man to end Jones's reign? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let the debate begin. If you're tired of the waiting game and want to see this heavyweight war finally happen, share this post and tag a friend who needs to see it. Let's make some noise. The UFC can't ignore us forever.